Hi, students. So, since we're not going to be meeting this week because Monday's a holiday, I'm going to make a short lecture here on YouTube discussing chapter 6 in the yellow book here. Okay. So, it's arguing a position, and I'm just looking at the blue intro page first, and it's talking about basically the fact that we cannot have rational discussions in this country right now. So that's kind of sad. And so we're going to try to change that one class at a time here. And so it says a more thoughtful, deliberate kind of argument, one that depends on critical analysis of an issue and involves logical reasoning rather than raised voices, and is more likely to convince others of the validity of your position. So kind of to warm up, practice a little bit before we do the research paper, and just pause a second. Remember, some of the topics for the research paper will be suicide, since there's been actually more suicides than homicides in our country in the last year, 44,000, I believe, including, all of you could name somebody, a famous person or a young person, YouTuber, whoever, that's committed suicide. So that's one topic we'll be discussing. And so really the kind of mental health is kind of in the background of that. Mental health in America is probably another topic. Do we take it seriously? Seems like we don't really believe in mental health. We just think more regular kind of health, like your blood pressure and cholesterol count, whatever, calories. So I think we need a broader discussion of that, just to mention a few topics. So you're going to have to present those in terms of problem solution. So do we have a problem with suicide in this country, or do we have a problem with mental health in this country? And what are the problems? You could say, we don't really consider it part of our health. We consider it, maybe, especially men, we're supposed to be strong and be able to do that. And women are supposed to be a little quieter and strong or stronger. And so we don't really talk about depression and anxiety and everything that's been happening during COVID, which plus all the drug addiction, it's kind of has a multiplier effect. Okay, so that's just a couple topics, and we'll get back to some others. But you need to get into the habit of thinking in terms of problem solution. You have to prove that there's a problem with your topic. All right. So some of the topics you're going to look at, and you're going to analyze the arguments, what you agree with, what you disagree with, in the 3 articles where you go to readings. So the first one is children need to play, not compete. But notice how it's set up. Need to play, not compete. Well, can't they do both? So again, it seems like the article is kind of simple-minded but you're going to have to come to your own analysis and write a paragraph. So you're going to have to write 100 words on each one of these articles. What do you agree with from children need to play, not compete? And it's page 178, by the way. So she makes a lot of claims, she being Jessica Statsky. And again, she doesn't seem to see the middle ground there. So you could bring in your own experiences with that, playing Little League or T-ball, soccer, anything as a child. I played T-ball, which was kind of silly in a way. So I played that. I played soccer 1 year. I played football a couple of years. Basketball every year. So that was my favorite by far. So I didn't think it was all bad. You can learn a lot of good things too. Okay. The second article on page 185 is the case for restricting hate speech. So she makes the point, she being Laura Beth Nielsen, people cannot falsely yell fire in a theater, but can yell the N-word at a person of color. Okay. So she's going to argue that we should be able to restrict hate speech so that people would be punished somehow for yelling the N word at somebody. Okay. Okay, so make sure you read these carefully. Again, 100 words. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with in that? Or maybe if you just strongly disagree, you could go on about that. So the third article gets a lot more complicated by Daniel Solove. Why privacy matters, even if you have nothing to hide. So that's page 189. I once had a student. I think it was 2000. Yeah, it was 2004, and 9/11 was still in a lot of our minds about the government, and at that time there were laws on the books where the government could even come in and check your library card and find out what books you've been reading or what you checked out. And so I had a student who said, yeah, I mean, I don't care if the police come into my house and search my house. I have nothing to hide. And I disagreed with him. I said, that's like these no-knock warrants in a way where the judge signs off on it and then the police can come in without even knocking. But remember the old days where a person's house was their castle, and if you, in the old days too, if the police were chasing you, but you got to your house first, they had to stop. They couldn't come barging into your house or sit there. They went away and then they waited for you to come out when you're on the street and then they could arrest you. That's fine. But they couldn't come into your house without a warrant. Okay. So we're seeing some high profile cases where that's not happening, no knock warrants, and also kind of the attitude of the people saying, no, I don't have anything to hide. The police can come and check my house, where I don't have anything to hide, but I don't want them in my business, whether it's good or bad. I just don't want other people in my business. It's part of U.S. history to, not having the police come and check your house or soldiers quartering in your house. That's in the Declaration of Independence, I believe, where we didn't want, private homes to be places for police or soldiers to come and search or hang out. So it's just, let's keep this a civilian society controlled by civilian rules and not do that. Okay, but maybe you disagree with me. What's the big deal? I guess you could say they come in and check your closets for, unlawful weapons or bombs or something. So he's going to argue, well, there is. And then, of course, there's the broader issue of surveillance and all that with this little thing. The fact that people can find out where we are right now and maybe even listen in, not from the television as we used to believe back in the 70s, but through our cell phones that Siri or some other app company will be listening in, making a transcript of what we're saying. Okay, have fun. And so 3 articles. So you'll also have the grammar to do, but that's a separate thing. You know how to do that. So just write 100 words about each article, what you agree with, what you disagree with. So you kind of look at them carefully, read them, make notes, use sticky tabs, and kind of make your positions known on those issues. Okay, have fun, have a great week, and good luck and good night.